Yeah. So what? It's your boy. No, it's not your boy. It's a box.
I was just waiting for what was coming there, you know.
Yeah. Hey y'all, how you guys doing? Sorry for the delay. We had some technical issues as well as just trying to get things sorted. But we're here. So yes, just real quick introduction, just in case we don't know who you are. So starting with you, Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Steve. Where I'm on the panel here for the last, I don't know, however many weeks. You can find me at Football Focus, my rebranded YouTube channel and Twitter channel for all things football, not just Liverpool anymore. It's branched out now. We're going to do the whole lot, mate. So,
yes, love it. Football universe accompanied. All right, Ryan, I just said your name. Ryan, introduce yourself.
Yeah, man. I'm Ryan. Been on the show many times. Obviously, what am I even saying in it? But I'm looking forward to it. We didn't do a show last week. It's been a couple of weeks since we did it.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, and yeah, you can find me, on Sarcasm City, mostly Sarcasm City TV, the Q&As, which I'm a co-host on, watch-alongs. Planning to bring on my own Liverpool show on there next month, sometime hopefully. Just a few things to sort out still. So yeah, that's what's been going on, bro.
Yo, that's
shout
awesome.
out to Doug. Evening, Doug.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Doug. Thank you for watching. Like he said, ladies and gentlemen that's watching, smash a like, subscribe if you're new. I can't wait. If the rest join us, they'll join us whenever they can. And the reason why I can't wait, right, is because I just woke up to a barrage of messages. You don't understand, because my time difference is about 8 hours. 5 hours, because you guys are in the UK, 5-6 hours. So when you guys were sending all that, I was in dreamland. So I woke up and I'm seeing all the messages about anyways, we'll get into it. But it was just really juicy stuff. Like Ryan said, we haven't had this show in since
a couple of weeks.
About 2 weeks, right? Yeah. So real quick, I just want to get your takes on, I guess the games were Man United.
That was the Southampton game, I think. I think Southampton came just after our last game.
We didn't get Steve's opinion on the Man United, Southampton, and then
West Brom.
Burnley. And now we've got a nice little juicy Burnley that we swallowed up. So I'll start from Steve, because I heard from Ryan last time while we were doing the show with Bobs from Man United. Steve, give us a nice little wrap up on how this past 2 weeks have been, compared to the show.
Yeah. Well, we put ourselves in a great position, haven't we? 23 points out of 27, I think it is, which is the best form in the league at the moment, to be fair. And the fourth best defensive record in the league to boot, which is amazing considering we've had 22 centre-back partnerships. The games themselves, with the exception of the Manchester United game, I thought we struggled in all of them in terms of the game. The quality of the game was very poor, very disjointed, very nervy, very lacking in fluidity. Something about United brought the best out in us. We showed resilience when we went 1-0 down. We showed further character when they got it back to 3-2, because in recent weeks that might have been a catalyst for a collapse, and it wasn't. And we scored at the other end. I think the team knew they would still create chances against United. That was a very, very open Manchester United side, to be fair, on that night. So the United game was fantastic for us Reds. Brilliant, great result. And as you've just said, just dispatched Burnley at Burnley, which was a banana skin, or could have been. But they never really turned up, did they? I thought they were poor. I thought we were poor. It wasn't a great game for football purists. But now, this stage of the season, it's about the 3 points. It doesn't matter about the performance. It matters about the points. So we go to Sunday. It's in our own hands. We've got 10,000 fans in there. This is the first time we've had the fans in the ground genuinely for God knows how long. And we get to say goodbye to Genie, which we will, and it'll lift the spirits in the ground. And I just think we'll steamroll Crystal Palace, mate, because the euphoria in the ground of having the fans back and being the last day of the season and all that stuff. we'll take it from Liverpool side because we'll be driven by the fans.
Right, good point. Man, like say, welcome. It's great to have you.
Oh, go on in the place, live and direct. You get me? You hear me in that, yeah?
Yeah, but so Steve's touched on a few points. He's talked about how like the Man United game it's something about that game that brought Liverpool back to life. So I'll come to you, right? Because like I said, we Ryan and I were on the pod like after the Man United game. What do you think specifically about the Man United game? That do you first of all, do you feel like it was that game that kind of turned things around for us towards the end? And also, what do you think about it? What about it transformed Liverpool, you think?
Most definitely, I would 100% agree that it was the Man United game that kind of gave us that resurgence. I think of all the games, let's be honest, they've all been must win, but that was must win. Do you know what I mean? Against what we would say would be quote unquote, kind of top tier opposition. All the rest of our let me not even get onto that. You know what I'm saying? Before we even get onto that, it's the opponents that are, do you know what I mean, considered the better of the games in which we had coming up. And then, like you touched upon, Vinci, you're going into a place that has not yielded has not been very fruitful for us. So, and then you look at that and you're like, it was, when you really buckle down on it, a draw, cool, but it was a must win. It was a must win.
Yeah,
we did that, and then the manner in which we did that, we are a better team than Man United. We are a better team than Man United. We've proved that for some time now, and they're having a far better season than we're having, and so that was a bit like, oh, what's going on? And then doubt starts to creep in, and then we actually treated Man United as they should have been treated. They rested players. They would have loved to have put the spanner in the works, to have resigned us to Europa League or do you know what I mean? The Beyonds. Like they had a real vested interest in this game. Don't get it twisted. And we smacked them up. We smacked them up as we should have done, as we have done in the past. Do you know what I mean? And as Liverpool should do. And I think that kind of was like, yeah, like guys, we've got this, innit? Like, we've got this. We didn't go over there. I would have yammed your hand off with rings on it with a scrappy 1-0 or 2-1. But we didn't go and do that. We went and actually bossed them. Like,
you talking last night?
No, I'm talking Man United. Yeah. United game. Do you know what I mean? When I actually because it was such a must-win game. When I watched it, I didn't have that awareness of it. I was like, oh my god! Even like, do you know what I mean? Like the game, even at 3-1, I was like, fuck, anything could happen. Do you know what I mean? When I sat back and watched it again, I was like, we absolutely smoked these man. Like we smoked them, and I think that's what kind of gave us that real like, listen, we've got this, man. Like, let's go and.
Right. So for me, like that match, like you said, it was the way that we did it to not an ordinary team. It was literally the hardest game that we had. In fact, at this period, so it was definitely a must win.
It was the personification of Salah's. Man said personification. Man, not just a rude boy, man's intelligent out here, but it was the personification of Salah's celebration. Do you know what I mean? Like it was that. It was. I feel like that spirit culminated us as a team. We just went, oh, like come on, we've done this, boy, rave up.
Yeah. So. No, you're absolutely spot on. So one thing that I don't like.
Oh, you're gonna have to. There's mad feedback. You don't even need to guess who it is.
One thing about that match that I wouldn't say was it was how I love how, I don't know about you, but maybe Ryan, you can say to this, but I feel like Man United cowardly, like a lot of fans cowardly just said, we didn't really play. We really didn't play too much because we didn't have anything to play. Ryan, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that they really didn't want to play?
They're chatting out their asses. Like they rested all their players against Leicester just for our game, innit? Like they wanted to win that game. They wanted to win that game to stop Liverpool getting top four. All their fans before the game, let's stop Liverpool's top four hopes and all this year. We even gave them a 1-goal head start in it. And we still pammed them. So they can chat all they want in it.
Shout out! I know that to be true as well because shout out all the real ones. I don't know many of them out there, but I did see one or two, like KJ from the Football Terrace. Yeah. Shout him out, because I saw him afterwards, and he pretty much echoed that. He said, "Nah, I'm pissed because this was our chance to relegate them, man. Do you know what I mean? That's what we wanted. Just I'm saying. So shout out Flawless. I know there's a couple real ones out there that will actually say with their chest, no, this was what our intention, and we fell short of it. Instead of trying to come with some, on
that note of real ones, the Football Capital, shout out Football Capital, thank you for joining us. He's like, Liverpool boss it, bro. You might need to watch it a third time. So,
bro, you see what I saw? I call him. You see, off that game, man calls him Splinter Cell. You know them way there, Bruno Fernandes. The Splinter Cell little rat
thing is about that
wheeling up the place.
I didn't even think we were amazing. I just thought we were just a lot better than them. I didn't even think we were that good, did it?
That's exactly it. No, that's exactly it, Ryan. That's what I'm saying is when I looked at it back, I was like, we bossed them. We didn't even play that well.
We weren't anything amazing.
Yeah,
we didn't have to be.
But we didn't have to be anything amazing for it.
But one last thing on that game, right? I always say this, and I did this at a podcast when we played Arsenal at one point. One thing I told the people there, I think it was the podcast with oh my gosh, I don't remember their names, but it was like an Arsenal podcast. I told them, when you play Liverpool, yes, we're wounded, but you don't. If you want to see the best of Liverpool, you should try and play with them. What I mean by that is if you play out and you play freely and you try and possess the ball or you try and, and attack, you're playing into Liverpool's hands, essentially. Because to be honest, I don't think there's any team that can, except Man City, that can really take advantage of you trying to play out. And to touch on that, last thing about Man United, Steve, do you think that Man United played into Liverpool's hands, essentially?
Yes, because you're right. They tried to play expansive football. They tried to catch us on the break down their left-hand side, our right-hand side. What they didn't do was cover their own defensive frailties particularly well. Their central defensive partnership was appalling on the night. Fernandes went missing. I know he scored, but he scored because we whacked it in our own net. It wasn't even going in. So we helped him score the goal. It's an own goal. That's what it is. Let's not get it twisted.
Let's be real. Exactly.
Yeah. They didn't turn up on the night. We did enough without being our full.
Phillips is a bloody Samaritan, is what he is, bro. That's what he is, bro. Man is a flipping Samaritan, just giving out goals. Say, brother, it's all right. I got you. Sorry, Steve.
No, I just thought you can only beat what's put in front of you. Manchester United didn't possess us too many problems. Manchester United didn't ask us too many questions. In terms of our form since January, you've got to be looking at Manchester United on that night and saying, what did they actually set out to do? Because he didn't do anything. He just kind of sat there. Okay, but Rashford scores a decent goal. He's got that in his locker.
There was only that one where Greenwood had the shot cleared off the line, which he was like, you were nervous. That would have made it.
When they score, they grow in.
Reece blocks one, innit? Reece blocks one, innit?
Yeah, when they score, they grow in confidence for a bit. And you've got to weather that storm. That happens with anybody. It doesn't matter whether it's Manchester United or Fulham. That's what happens in football. But I always felt there were other chances for us. I always felt we would create chances. I think the team felt that they would create chances because he didn't panic. Look at the Leicester game. as soon as that game became apparent that that wasn't going to be plain sailing, we folded, we collapsed unless we took advantage of it.
Yeah.
But there was a strength in the team and a resilience that we've become accustomed to. Back to the mentality monsters, shall we say.
Right.
But we only beat a team that was put in front of us. Manchester United were far from good. We were better than we have been, and football was a bit more fluid. But since that game, we've gone back to being disjointed and nervy again.
Can I just say, what's man's hyping about you need the league? I don't understand. Did you not get beat 4-2? I don't understand. It wasn't a 2-1 victory. Man got slapped 4-2. Like, it just is what it is, isn't it? Like,
you know what the crazy thing is? I actually think against West Brom away, we didn't play bad. I thought we played okay away to West. In terms of the build-up play, I thought it was just the final ball was lacking towards the end.
No, they've been hard to watch since January. Liverpool, they've been.
Oh, that I agree with that.
But just really quick, Ryan. I want to ask you this, right? a lot of clubs that are like our competitors and all these others, the Arsenals and everybody, they've gotten to a point where they're just like, oh, Liverpool are whiners and complainers, or their season, or their injuries. But right, I wanted to ask you, like, you see how Man United had Maguire get injured, and their defense looks like a joke.
And then all they're doing is moaning, innit? Oh, it's like, Maguire's shit anyway. He's just the best of a bad bunch. And it's like, literally, we've had our best centre-back out. We've had all our bloody centre-backs out. We're having to play a guy who, you know, was on loan at Stuttgart last year, and a guy we brought from, was it Kidderminster or something like that, innit? Yeah, like, come on, innit? That was our centre-back partnership, and we pammed them. So, like, it's just saltiness, innit? Like, you know what it is, though? I'm scared, innit? Because I do think we'll win on Sunday. But if we don't, it'll just be the shittest way to end the season, wouldn't it? When we've built up all this, I'm just scared, innit, that it could all go. I do think we'll win for the reason Steve said earlier on. But, mate, I'm nervous. I'm not going to lie, because it's such a big game. This game, I think if we win this game and get top 4, we can challenge the league next season. I'm quite confident. But
we will challenge the league next season.
I just feel if we get Europa, I don't see it next season, you know. I really don't.
No, we will.
The thing is, let's not act like Crystal Palace don't pose us any time. I mean,
you beat them 7-0 in December.
But they still.
It's the Premier League. That doesn't.
Do you know what I mean? You've got
to come correct, like each game. But
it is. I don't wish injury on anyone, and
right.
And I do hope that he's better. But you know, it is a little bit of a calming thing knowing that Eze is not going to be there. That does help a little bit.
But do you know one thing that I actually want to touch on, and I know it's a little bit of a I told you guys so moment, and I'm gonna gloat a bit. But do you remember when, before we played Man United, right? Do you remember the discussions we had about our lineup, right? And I was like, under no circumstance should Jurgen Klopp play Fabinho in the back. I don't care if Nat Phillips is injured. I don't care if Kabak is injured. I don't care. Like, you put Rhys Williams there, you put whoever that's there as a defender there, and let Fabinho play defensive mid. And I feel like he's actually heard my voice. And my question is,
you weren't the only one that was saying that. Nigga, please. You
ain't the life out of me, but
I remember you were quiet because I think most people were quiet because they were just like, because defense
we were quiet because you were on one, man.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. I'm like, trust me, Steve, tell him. We just sat down and just said, Jesus, take control of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
I was like, but guys, on a serious note, do you think that results are different if Fabinho's at the back? I do, personally.
I will say this, yeah? I will say this. Yes, I agree. Results 100% different. I will caveat that with, I do think that he's been very poor in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
I think he was
he has
dog
been
shit in last game. He was awful. Probably his worst performance this season.
But just his
West Brom,
there is enough at
I wouldn't
times.
say awful.
No. Last game he was awful. West Brom he wasn't awful, but he wasn't
He
very
was below par by his standards.
But again, like Ryan said, I do agree. It's just his presence. I think
look at how good Thiago's been last couple of days.
I think it might be an overcomplacency because he knows that he's got a bad boy like Nat Phillips behind him, and he's like, you know what, man can just chill, can just settle. You see me?
But
Ryan, shut your mouth. If there's anyone on this panel that don't have
about Nat Phillips in the group chat, because you were going wild, bro.
Some of the scandalous shit that I've heard you say over my lifetime, do not even think you can ever talk.
Do you know why I'm having stitches when you say he's awful and I can't really take it? It's because for us Liverpool fans, our definition of awful has been taken to a whole new level this season. When we talk about awful, we should talk about Mane for most of the season.
Yeah, but we're talking about very different positions.
I'll tell you what's awful. I'll tell you what's awful. Our bench against West Brom last week is still.
Yeah, let's not go there. We don't need to do this.
It gives me nightmares.
Can I just make a point on Fabinho, guys, just before we probably?
Yeah, go ahead.
It is just having him there. It is his presence just being there. He takes up natural positions where the teams have to play around where he's based himself, and where he puts himself to get through Liverpool, you have to take more risk. So you have to play balls into the channels which are easier to defend. So by just putting him back in midfield, it just said to the opposition, right, we've got our six, you know how good he is, you go around the outside of us and we'll deal with it. And it's no more difficult than that.
Can I also say as well, I do think as well, like on a slightly more deeper level, I feel like he's having to adapt to a new role now, having a player like Thiago next to him, because Thiago likes to normally he's conventionally that, do you know what I mean, that DM60, you know what I mean, he sits there, he knows what he's doing, he cleans up, he's in front, but now he's not having to, but he's creating this partnership with Thiago where he's moving the ball forward sometimes and he's letting Thiago sit back and dictate play, and do you know what I mean? And so Thiago, I feel like that's coming to him, and that's where he's, because when I say he was awful, in all honesty, it wasn't really in terms of anything really defensive, if I can think of my head, but it was more like getting caught on the ball, losing the ball. And this is what I'm saying, playing that different role that he's playing now because Thiago's there, and do you know what I mean, allowing Thiago to do what he does. Do you know what I'm saying? So
brother, when it comes to awful, I'm thinking Gini's been, in my opinion, Gini is awful. That's for me, that's awful.
I've got one thing, which I said on my review, which is pissing me off to the nth degree. I understand, as a human level, the which doesn't fall on him, it falls on us as a club. Like, it's ridiculous as a club. But on a human level, he's still got aspirations of playing in the Euros. Like, he don't want to bruck himself. Do you understand? So he don't want to maybe exert himself to the levels. I understand that as a human level, I would probably be the same. Anyone would. It's not on him, it's on the club. I understand that. I get that. We shouldn't be putting the onus on a player who's in that position. It shouldn't. On a club, we should have our shits together. We don't, and we're putting an onus on him. I understand that. I understand him. I get all of that. I understand the recycling of the ball somewhat. We are in a game that we need to win, and we need to win by a considerable amount in order to gain. You can see the line. It's a bit of a risky pass, but these are the things in which we need to do in this game. And yet you're thinking, no, I'll let that go, whatever that might be an instruction. One thing I cannot let go of, I'm sorry, you're a scumbag, bro. And I use scumbag like
the Allison thing.
It's not even... What, the celebration? But it's all of them. It's all of them. I seen the other day, I said, oh, what's going on? Man slapped it. It's Nat Phillips, bro. It's Nat Phillips. He ain't scored ever. And he's been, like, quote unquote, our savior. Do you know what I mean? In terms of, and you can't even, bust one teeth and one grin A one like, yo, you know what?
He's just not
Now
interested
get
anymore,
out of
is he?
here, bro.
It was
Get
the
out of here,
Alisson thing
bro.
that really got me
What?
when
Get out of
because
here.
they're not. Normally, I
What
don't
is
really
this?
get onto players for this, but like the Alisson thing, we've just scored a last-minute win at a goalkeeper, especially everything that Alisson's been through, and you don't bother to
And you can't
celebrate. It's
even
just
like you can't
you
even
don't
go
bother.
over and like
I
you're
was,
what are you
I
doing?
was,
Like
I was,
you're
I
a
was gonna get,
piss taker.
I was gonna get to, I was gonna get to that in our next segue.
Nah,
Like,
I didn't even have time. I did my head's hot. Vinci.
My head was
Nah,
hot after I saw that. Yeah.
what kind of nonsense, bruv? When I start busting tree, you know what time it is, bruv. Now you're some joke thing, bruv. Because
no,
I'm one
like,
of the people that's been on here that have taken scandal from Ryan. I've been like, no, listen, he's not bad, bro. They're like, no, he's shit. I'm like, no, he's not. So like, it does hurt me for you to then be doing shit like that. It's like, bruv.
no, like for me, what I saw, for example, in this last game, we're counter attacking Burnley. He gets the ball in the middle, and people have made runs, and this man turns, stops, turns, and plays a diagonal pass, and I'm just like, no, you don't deserve to be on the team. Like, you don't deserve to be on the team. But boys, I don't. Like, on a more positive note, I want us to talk about West Brom, right? And the reason why I want us to talk about West Brom,
before you go on to West Brom, I know I've been on this show enough, and I know Steve. I know when he's quietly simmering and burning, and has got points. We've got to go to Steve first before we move on. Steve.
Do you have anything else to say with regards to that segment before we go on to West Brom, the happy bit?
I'm just taking it in and buzzing off it. To be fair, you know what I mean. You're so animated, mate. It's pretty cool. Ronaldo shouldn't be playing. Ronaldo shouldn't be playing. His mind's somewhere else, and it's hard for me to say that because I've not been on the bandwagon of slaughtering. I've never been someone that slaughters our own players, with the exception of El Hadj Juff. You'll get me on a pod just like that.
Please don't start.
And I'll host it. But thanks for what he's done. You know, he's contributed massively to our success. He's a bit pissed off because he wants a contract. He's not getting one. So it's like he's sulking to some degree as well.
He's pulling a money.
No, Genie.
No, he said he's pulling the money.
He's pulling the money.
Yeah. But it's not understandable. It's part of the course in that situation, isn't it? So if Milner's fit, Milner should have played because it's a different dynamic, a different opposition. He'll go, and you know what? It will stop me seeing the shite I see on Twitter every day from the ball-watching fans who change their Twitter accounts to 27 days till Genie leaves and stuff like that. I can't be bothered.
You should have, Nick. Why
you're going to do that? Go and support somebody else because we don't do that, mate. We don't do that.
Right. Yo, okay, so guys, moving on, right? Okay. My opinion, this is the best moment I think I've ever experienced since I was watching football. It's
the most I've ever celebrated a goal when I've not been in the stadium.
You don't understand it. Like, the Alisson goal, for me, in my lifetime, I can't think of anything that ranked higher up there. Please, like, breathtaking. Absolutely breathtaking. What are your thoughts? Like,
totally agree.
Okay, first of all, I want to know your thoughts before that corner, honestly, and then after the corner.
I can tell you, I said to my lad, we've had 15 corners, and we're slinging the ball in the box, and we're aiming at a load of midgets. And this is the biggest team in the Premier League in West Brom, and they're just heading them straight out. So Alisson comes up for the corner, and I stand up ready to turn the telly off because I can't be bothered with all the Sky narrative and what have you. Ball comes in, Alisson leaps like a salmon, top corner, Duncan Ferguson style header, mate. The techers, the ability, the technique was insane, mate.
Tell him again.
I'm doing laps of my house, mate. I'm doing laps of my kitchen, mate. I cannot believe what I've seen, and I've watched football longer than you, obviously. I've never seen anything like that before in my life. I've seen goalkeepers score from goal kicks, and we've had the odd goalkeeper take a free kick, you know, and penalties and stuff. What a header! What a header!
That was
ridiculous. I have never seen anything like that, and I promise you this: if I get to watch football for another 40 years, I'll never see it again. That's how unique that was. That's how special that was.
Like, man, like it's unbelievable. Like saying, like once, okay, like Steve said, like he was literally about to turn the TV off. I was just honestly just thinking, what the hell does Liverpool do now? Like, bro, I'm just like, we're screwed. What were you thinking?
What's that comment? What is that comment?
Allow Nathan hate us. Cool. No,
he's an Arsenal fan.
You can tell. It's fine. Nathan is calm, man. I had my little one in my arm. She's sleeping, and I'm watching the game, and I'm thinking, yeah, that Robertson's left leg's gonna fall off. Like the ins no, seriously, like the in-swinging corners that we're doing on that side as well. Like he's just banging them. They weren't bad, don't get it twisted, but they just weren't doing nothing. They just weren't working, bruv. You know them way there. They just weren't working, bro. Man's leg, I saying, bro, your hip joint must be aching because you're just swinging. And then boom.
You're right, because they actually switched last minute.
Yeah.
You're right.
This is what I'm sitting there thinking, because I've had my little one and I'm just like, I'm not as animated as I would, because so I was thinking more logistically in the game. So I'm like, So I see Alisson running up. I didn't think much of it, to be very honest with you. I was just like, whatever, like this is some joke thing, like. And I was much like Steve was gonna turn the TV off. To be fair, I just can't be arsed, man. Like, and then I see that it was Trent, and I was like, okay, finally, like a decent ball. I barely got to finish that thought. He put it on his head, bro. I said, yo, this is what we've, fam. I went mad. Yeah, it was mental. I'll probably get done for.
Yo, I'm still surprised that I've actually not been kicked out of where I live. Like, to be honest, Ryan, what was it like?
My missus didn't kick me out, bro. Oh my!
You know what? The actual game itself was like. You know, I thought, like I said, I thought we played well in that game. And I always felt, even as we were going on, I just had a feeling we were going to score. But then when it got to like the 92nd minute, I was like, nah, fuck it. Like, we're not doing anything in it. Like, this top four's done. Europa League settings next season. Fuck's sake, innit? And then the corner comes, and I didn't even think that. I was having doubts over whether the ref would allow us to actually take it, because it was very late. And then I saw Alisson going up, and I was a bit shocked, but then I realised, fuck it, it's like the last kick of the game, you know. As soon as it comes in, if it gets headed away, he'll just blow the whistle. Fair enough, innit? And then when he put it in, I was like, I just saw it, and the way he twisted his head back and everything, I just flew into the net. Oh my God, I've never celebrated a goal as much as that, especially when I've not been in the stadium. The closest I can remember being in the stadium where I've celebrated a goal kind of near that was Origi against Everton in the last minute. Remember when Pickford fucked it?
Yeah. That was wild too.
Yeah, that was wild. But this at home, I celebrate goals wildly at home, but this was a different level. I was crying of everything. I was like, it got emotional. It got emotional, bro.
Like it was mad emotional because of who it was. And for me, honestly, Alisson's header, if it's Mane or Salah, I don't even think it's going in, to be honest.
It was an unreal header, bro.
Unreal.
Like the finesse,
slightly behind him as well. Like,
back.
So Tekers, it was just Brazilian sauce. If there was a manager that the fact that it was on Sam Aladishi's watch as well, bro, it just made it.
I love it
so much sweeter. Like,
oh my God, I love it.
It's these moments that you live for as a football fan, though. It's these moments.
No one else, guys. No one else.
It was unreal, and I don't think we'll ever see anything like this again.
No. And to score that goal, Alisson beat Nat Phillips to the ball. Alisson beat Nat Phillips to the ball. Nobody else done that all season.
He did.
You know, if we do end up getting, if we beat Crystal Palace,
if Nat Phillips gets ahead on that, it's going over. Like that.
100%. It's landing now. It's landing now.
But the thing is, if we get Vinci, if we get top 4 by beating Palace on the weekend, it'll be this goal that will be remembered for it. This goal that will be remembered for it. This goal will never. If we get top 4, this goal will never ever be forgotten. Just imagine, right? I'm getting a bit wild here. And
Villa
I'm
getting a draw against Chelsea. 3rd place is on. Never mind 4th. 3rd place is on.
Yeah, it is on. But just imagine. I know I'm getting ahead of myself here, but just imagine we get top 4 on the weekend. And let's say we win the Champions League next season. You could argue this was the goal that won us the Champions League in some sort of weird way, because without it, we wouldn't even be in it. That's how big this goal could prove to be, you know.
No, that's fair. That's facts. Yeah. For those who are spiritual, whatever, it's like there is a God, because that cannot be scripted.
There's something. You know, them ones there. You can't tell me that there ain't nothing. You can't tell me that that's just how it just happened. You can't tell me that the end of this season ends up like that. Leicester have those 3 games. Like, you know, them ones there, like it all just pans out. Like, you can't just tell me that you be the most ignorant person ever to know, like, come on, man.
There's
something in it.
If there was ever an allegation that the Premier League, there's match fixing, how do you explain? Like it's not possible. So the
last 3 games they get who they get Chelsea, someone and Tottenham. Who's the one they got? Yeah. Who's the one before
Man United, Leicester, Chelsea.
Man United, Leicester. Wow. And then they're in this fight. And they're in this fight. West Ham play what's it called? Tottenham, or bro, it's just like when you look at it, it's just all like, come on, bro, this is all mad.
Like honestly, this is why the EPL is the best league, and it's always been, and it's because of stuff like this.
We beat West Ham, and then the 2 above us have to play each other on the Tuesday, so we like, come on, man, like there's someone. I don't know if it's God. I don't know if it's Allah. I don't know if
Alisson goal made me think.
Son.
That Alisson goal made me think: is it actually this top 4 is probably meant for us? You know, like when it's actually just meant to be in it. Like that's how it felt when Alisson scored.
Okay, first off, before I go to this next point that I want to get your opinions on really badly, actually, shout out to everyone that's watching. Smash a like. Subscribe if you're new. Shout out Bocce, Football Capital. Shout out Nathan. Even though your comments just crack me up. Shout out Love Football Hate. Shout out to everybody. Thanks for watching. Keep it going. Okay, so really quick before I get to the controversial, because we know what the controversial bit is here coming in. Before we get there, so we know how Liverpool has struggled in 2021. When you look at this season, don't you want to laugh a bit? Because it just doesn't it tell you what the quality of the EPL is like, and also, most importantly, what the quality of the top. I would leave Man City out of this, but the top 3 teams except Liverpool below Man City, doesn't that tell you kind of how far they are?
I was going to say something, and then I'm out, and then I'm just going to sit down. If by any means we get 3rd, Lord Jesus,
it's a joke, isn't it?
I'm going to be so obnoxious. I think people are like, I'm going to be. That's why I'm like, you know what? We might just sneak it, because God might think, you know what? Nah, you know what? This boy, he's gonna take. I'm going to take the absolute piss for all that bad, worst champions. Like we have. I'm going. If you lot let us end up in 3rd after all that is a mere 6 or 7 or 8 points behind Man United, bruv. The world don't want to see it. Saint LFC TV, I beg you, if we come 3rd, come see me. You don't even have to subscribe. Just come and watch. I will be there giving corn on a daily. I'll be acting like man won the Champions League or something. I'll be going on ruthless. That's
Say
all
he wants the smoke. I love it. He
Bruv.
wants the smoke.
Nick, if we do win on Sunday, I'll send you the link for the Q&A that night, innit?
Bruv, you know I will be there.
Honestly,
You
boys,
know I will.
Thing I'm doing, you know.
I'll be there. I'll be
know.
anywhere you want me to be on
Bro,
Sunday.
yeah, I'll send you all the
You
link
know
because I'm
I'm
giving
going to
Flawless
be
so much
on
smoke
smoke.
that night.
You know what? Yeah, double check with Flawless in it because I don't think
I don't care, innit? I'm just
Bro,
I'm
I
giving him
don't
so
think
much
he
smoke
wants
that night.
me to be on your double check.
Nah, he will. He'll be fine with it.
Bro,
I'm giving him so much
bro,
smoke. I don't care.
because
Innit? The amount of times I've heard him say,
coming.
the amount of times Flawless has said over the last few weeks, "Oh, Europa League settings, or you lot worst champions," and all that crap. Yeah, trying to get at me, innit? If we get top 4 on the weekend, honestly, yeah, and especially if we get third, you're all coming on, innit?
rebel.
If we get
Ryan,
fourth,
rebel.
I'll be happy. I'll be happy myself. I'll just be happy. I'll be vibes. But if we get third, oh Lord Jesus.
If we get third, it's different, yeah.
It's different vibes. It's different.
Do you know what it is after this season? No, Steve, I want to hear from you. After this season, we just below Man United. Come on.
We could
And not
potentially
even
end the
like
season 2 points
touching
behind,
distance
yeah.
as well, you know. It wasn't even like double figures. It was touching. It was
It's
mere
right there.
points. It was mere points. Yeah, hey, shut up, you man. Hey, seriously. 200 bags, you man spent Chelsea. 200 million.
Yo, just imagine, and I'm not. I don't think it will happen. I think Chelsea will get top 4 personally, but just imagine Chelsea finish 5th and lose the final.
Trust me, Ryan.
Chelsea
I've thought of that
fans are high
scenario.
for that
I've thought about it. I've enjoyed it. I've had a party in my head. I love that scenario because
It's not going to happen because I think they'll get 4th in it. But like, just imagine if it does.
they're not playing Sheffield United. You know that, right?
I know, but I just think they'll get 4th. I just think they'll get top 4.
But you know they're playing West Ham, right?
Now,
Villa and Tompkins is on stuff, bro. Ollie Watkins is
Villa.
It's Villa.
It's Villa.
Watkins, Grealish is fit again. Like, bro. It's not easy. What's the Scottish done that they got? What's the Scottish done?
Billy Gilmore.
McGinn smashing it. Bro, it's not easy going there, you know. It's not.
I think if Tottenham beat Leicester, don't we just get it? It doesn't matter what we do against. If Tottenham beat Leicester, we've got it, haven't we?
Correct.
Also, I swear the final is only a week after that game.
It's next Saturday.
So they'll be thinking about the final.
Bro, there's not man that going in a lot of 50-50 challenges.
Yeah, exactly. Game, I think Kante's already about, isn't it?
Like, I'm being serious, bro.
Kante's not playing.
No, but
any man that feeling niggles, they're like,
Facts.
Saying if I'm a Chelsea supporter, or in Chelsea manager, I'm going into the last day thinking it's a must-win game because guess what?
But you have continental players. You have man like Werner. You have man like Havertz. They want to make a name on the European stage,
the Champions League final. Yeah,
man ain't breaking their bones for
no
Aston Villa. Are you dumb? On any like?
To be honest, a lot of the Chelsea players haven't been breaking their bones this season.
Mason Mount will, but Havertz is not doing that, bruv.
Yo, Vinci, I just want to say, yeah, Football Capital in the comments, yeah, Liverpool celebrating 3rd, the exact same thing that your team was doing this time last year.
Yeah,
with a fully fit squad and fans and all sorts. Let's not, bro. I'm celebrating 3rd. I'll be here with my chest out. I told you, Football Capital.
Let's just look at that comment and say this: if we win on Sunday, we end up with 69 points, which is 30 points behind where we ended up last season, and we could finish 3rd. So damn right we're celebrating it because all season we've been told we're the worst defending champions there's ever been. We could end up 2 or 3 points behind 2nd place. Right now, with what we've had to deal with, we'd take that all day long.
I'll take that all day, right now. If you'd have told me...
Right, and Steve, just to touch on that point, right? Doesn't that tell you how far off teams like Man United should be ashamed because this is our worst. This is our worst we're giving you. And we're still top 4? Come on.
Their best. This is their best. Our best. You know what happened at our best? We smashed the league at a canter. At your best, you came At your best, you came second. It wasn't. It was never never a title race.
It wasn't even a good.
It wasn't.
Second.
And that's what I'm saying. It was never a title race between you. It was never a title race. And at our worst, you're only above us. Bobs, you know not to come on this show. You knew about that, bruv. You knew, bruv. I'm not calling for them Manx, man.
No, guys, okay, now I want to get into, unless anyone has anything else to say on that segment, I want to get into the main bit, right? That got me kind of laughing and for the most part this morning. So Steven Gerrard finally gets in the Premier League Hall of Fame, and we woke up to a little shade.
Wait, actually, hold on a second. Let me just take the time out. Let me just say. You can't just glance over that. You get me? Big. Hey, listen. He's one of the reasons I'm old in the game, innit? I'm probably just behind Steve, but them ones there. Man ain't new to this. Man didn't start watching football 5 years ago and that. Man's old school. So shout out Steven Gerrard, who's one of the reasons that I am. Do you know what I mean? The Liverpool fan that I am today. The bad boy. Trust me. Sorry. Go ahead, carry on.
No, saying that is facts. And that's why I want to talk about it, because one, people are not stupid for actually inducting him in. There's a reason for it, right? But we had a certain pushback from a Man United fan. Okay, let me just name him. So Bob's pushed back, and he was just like, Steven Gerrard does not belong there. So, guys, I want to get your thoughts on this. Does Steven Gerrard, and his argument was that Steven Gerrard hasn't won anything. So, I want us to look at that actual point, because that was
not anything. His specific thing was he hasn't.
Oh yes, the Premier League. You're right, right. So he specifically said Steven Gerrard hasn't won the Premier League. So far, everybody else that's been inducted has actually won the Premier League. So, guys, what's going on here? Do you think that should actually be a criteria to actually be considered in the Hall of Fame?
No.
Okay. I'll start with you. Go ahead.
No. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Bro, that's ridiculous, bro. Football was there before the Premier League was created, innit? Let's be honest. Football's been around. A techie baller is a techie baller. I just shouted out Steven Gerrard for I just shouted out Steven Gerrard for being for me being the Liverpool fan I am today. I love football, full stop. For the type of players that a Matt Letizia. Bro, are you dumb? The influence that Matt Letizia has on me, and the type of players in which I like, and the type of football in which I resonate towards. Man didn't come anywhere near no Premier League or nothing like that. Do you know what? So you're gonna rub him out because he didn't have. It's ridiculous. It's a nonsense, bro. It's an absolute nonsense. And on that point, it's even more of a nonsense on a player like Steven Gerrard, who has everything else but. So because he don't have this one thing, when did that become the absolute holy grail of being the pinnacle player? It just so happens you can't win a Premier. Last time I checked, you can't win a Premier League by yourself. And the teams in which when you're talking about Roy Keane and who else is getting and you're looking at Ian Wright, look at the teams in which he had. Look at the teams. Then talk to me about no Premier League. Come out of here, man.
Right. So interesting points you made this say. So looking at if
the last time I checked, football was not just in England. So why don't we make the criteria that you're not actually allowed to be inducted unless you have a Champions League? Then what? Ian Wright, man like Ian Wright, instantly out. That it's ridiculous. It's when you have something so black and white, it's benign. It's just a joke.
Right. Okay. So let's look at the people who have been inducted so far. Right. So we have Lampard, Rooney, from my recollection, I'm saying this off the top of my head. Rooney,
wasn't even in
Lampard.
No, wait. Rooney ain't even in the 25-man squad. No,
I think he was, wasn't it?
No. Rooney's not there. Sorry, yet. It's
right. I remember because I know this because I was like, how did they not put Wilder on?
It's Henry, Keane, Lampard,
Keane, and
Michael.
Gerrard, Lampard, and Shearer's there.
Cantona and Schmeichel.
Who?
Cantona and Schmeichel.
Yes, exactly. Cantona and Schmeichel. Okay, so all those, we agree that they should be in there.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, Ryan, I want to ask you a question. Should someone else have gone in there before Steven Gerrard?
In terms of midfielders, is it?
Well, in terms of players, from your opinion, because I think it's there's only been 3 midfielders so far that's been put, which is actually a lot. But in terms of let's go. In terms of midfielders, do you think someone else deserved to be there more than Steven Gerrard, from your recollection?
Yes.
Okay, so who would you like recommend? Who would you say should be in there?
As much as it pains me to say it, I think Scholes should be there ahead of Gerrard.
Right, can I just quickly say something and then you go back to Ryan? They're not put in order of merits. They're not put in by somebody thinks he's number 1, he's number 2.
Okay, yeah, so that doesn't matter.
It's a random selection, and they've just thrown Gerrard in, and the world's gone mad. Right, back to Ryan, mate.
Yeah, in terms of that, I agree with Steve. It doesn't matter in terms of the order you get in, as long as you get in at the end of the day.
Right. So you believe Gerrard deserves to be there?
It depends. Is there a limit? Is there a limit? How many actually can you put in? Like, because I haven't read a lot about the Hall of Fame. I ain't gonna lie. Like,
right. Steve, do you know? Is there a limit on like how many people get in?
No, I don't know. I think it's going to be an ongoing thing.
Yeah, but, I think they're done for this year.
It's a marketing stunt by the Premier League and Sky Sports.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, the bottom line is it doesn't really mean anything. It's just a moment in the sun with a nice picture on the internet just to generate clicks. That's what it's for.
And another medal. That's all it is.
But Steve, I know you just said that it doesn't mean much, and it's a new thing. But let me ask you, Shane, do you think now it could actually start to mean a lot? Because at the end of the day, we've had a lot of stars come through this league. So it'll be like, why isn't my name up there? Like if you're a Yaya Toure or Drogba, you go 3 seasons from now and they're inducting players every season and your name is not there. And you see the likes of like Scholes go in and let's say McManaman would go in. And if you're Yaya Toure, wouldn't you be like, yo, I've done a lot. Like, do you think it's something that would become this kind of legacy thing that I've got to be in the Hall of Fame of the EPL?
Yes and no. In terms of, I think Steve is bang on, really. Like, what does it really mean at the end of the day? Like, when you really look at it, is Yaya Toure going to be seen of any less of a player or have any less impact, especially amongst those that love him, because he's not in the Hall of Fame? Really?
Nah, it's just
let's be honest. I say I don't think it means very much, and I think, to be very honest with you, it would depend on each individual's kind of their, for lack of a better word, I'm too high right now, ego. Do you know what I mean? How big or small their ego is, where one person would be like, well, actually, and another person I can imagine that Steven Gerrard don't really give a shit either way. This is the type of person do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, cool, I got it, safe. He ain't sitting there stewing over it or whatever the case may be. And I wouldn't like to say the merits on someone who would, because I don't know them like that. But you know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be. I do also say this to say all of these Hall of Fames are very new. All of them.
Yeah.
hip hop, music, NBA. Kobe's only just gone
basketball's
into
been there for a while.
basketball.
And boxing.
Boxing has been boxing, but basketball.
They've had a bunch of them.
Like it's now coming into, it's now the flavor. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. In that, so over time, I would. Some people are just what's the word I'm looking for? They're just. It's undeniable. Some people are undeniable, and regardless of when, I would think that over time, you will see the likes of the Yaya Toures and the Scholes and Lampard and Gerrard, because they are on each under. You know what I mean? Like, it may be within a 10-year span, no, because of whatever. But do you know what I mean? Who's then to say within a 20, 25-year, 30 span? Everything is right now. This guy's got it right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's that's the whole point of the Hall of Fame, is it not? It's supposed to be a postage player stamp of, this person, there, and then it's there for time, innit? It's not you know what I'm saying? It's engraved, and I'm there, and it's over time. So I think over time, like I say, but you have to give it time, innit? Do you know what I mean? Maybe within the next 5 years, you won't see Lampard and Gerrard in the same, or whatever the case may be. Do you know what I mean? But so really, doesn't matter.
The way I see it, though, okay, so for example, when you mentioned other sports, when I look at other sports like basketball, right? For me, I see the way these guys play. They play the game, they retire, and I see what it means to them. Like, they actually have a ceremony. They actually have like an unveiling and things like that. And I don't know what else they get. I think they get financial incentives as well.
But in terms of the game, you've got to remember that it is football's far more fickle in terms of like transfers, and their man go to a team and they are there. Do you know what I mean? Bar like a trade, or you have journeymen, but the ones that go do you know what I mean? They are journeymen, but generally people stay. So that's why, like you say, they get the unveilings, they get them because they're there for long periods of they go for their transfer fees astronomical, whereas at ours you're more likely to get a dip and dive, and we're now very accustomed to who spends their football life at a club. Do you know what I mean? Your Harry Kanes, your Aubameyangs, they're the rarities. Do you know what I mean in our football?
I get what you're saying, but the thing about the NBA, for example, is you have the NBA Hall of Fame. So you don't have the LA Lakers. You have the LA Lakers Hall of Fame where they decorate you as a team, but they have the entire league. Now, it's interesting that I don't know if someone can correct me. I don't know if FIFA has a FIFA Hall of Fame football. My guess is it would be the Ballon d'Or winners, and perhaps all the players that have won championships, like goalkeeping, player of the year, defensive, all these things. I'm sure they have them listed. But this EPL, I think it's an initiative that was started just so that people can be remembered, because what we're seeing right now is we're seeing talent being we've had a massive turnover from the football talent that we've seen in our generation. You're talking about the people we've watched, the Steve McManamans, Robbie Fowlers, Owen, Yaya, and all these people. They've all gone now. And guess what? The next generation after Ryan, they would be like, who's Heskey? Who's Heskey? Who's Robbie Fowler type of thing. So it's interesting. It's important to have these names live on. So I think this Hall of Fame was kind of developed so that these names could live on beyond our generation, and so people could actually look them up and be like, okay, these were actually like people that were amazing football players. And so now, because of that notion of your legacy living on, I feel like, I don't know, Ryan, I want to get your thoughts. I feel like it will become more important.
It's all part of a massive marketing strategy. That's all it is. You watch what happens. You watch what happens next year. FIFA 22 will come out. and the kids will spend 600 quid on their dad's credit card trying to get a new Premier League legend, trying to get a Premier League Hall of Famer. It's all bigger picture. It's all marketing. That's all it is. At the end of the day, Gerrard wants to be recognised by the Liverpool fans for what he did for Liverpool. Yaya Toure will be recognised by Barcelona and Manchester City fans for what he did for those two clubs respectively. Didier Drogba will be remembered by Chelsea for what he did. It really doesn't make much difference as and when they put them in this Hall of Fame. There's been a comment on here while we've been talking about it's wrong that Gerrard was put in front of Scholes. He's not been put in front of Scholes. He's just been put in now. They're not ranking them. They're not saying the number one was Thierry Henry and the number two is Alan Shearer and the number three is Peter Schmeichel and so on and so forth. They're saying these footballers, their individual impact on the Premier League warrants recognition. And that's all it is, recognition.
Yeah, but Steve, it's saying that it's worth recognition more than others because the question has to be asked, why those two? But the funny thing is, nobody complained when they brought out Alan Shearer and Thierry Henry first.
The reason I can tell you the reason why. I'll tell you the reason why. Alan Shearer scored more goals than anybody else in the Premier League.
Of course.
And the footballing world recognises that Thierry Henry is the greatest footballer to ever play in the Premier League. So you've got to look at those two straight away. There's your rationale for those two. Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying, Steve. So we bring out two players that nobody can argue about and nobody said anything about. But now, right, why bring out the others the way you bring them out? Like, there's no real guide, but why not Scholes instead of Lampard and why not Scholes and Beckham just got inducted? Was it yesterday or today? It was today, right? So Beckham's come in. So we don't really have a guide on how this is selected, but at the same time, I get what you're saying that, it doesn't mean anything, but it could mean something because these names are not in alphabetical order, are they?
No,
Ryan, what are your thoughts?
Here's a point for you.
Okay, go ahead, Steve.
So they bring out Henry and Shearer, then they bring out Schmeichel, Cantona, Beckham, Scholes, Keane, Ferdinand, and the football world goes mad because they say there's a Manchester United bias. Switch that round, they bring out Henry and Shearer, then they bring out Vieira, Adams, Bergkamp, whoever else from Arsenal you want to choose, and then there's a bias towards Arsenal. Steven Gerrard is probably the only Liverpool player that's going to get in it because of his impact on the Premier League. I listened to Frank Lampard the other day. Frank Lampard actually was quoted as saying the other day, when you went to play Liverpool and Steven Gerrard was on it, you've got to forget about him because he's just too good. You can't do anything about him. That's someone who played directly against him. That's one of his peers who says, you can't stop that guy. Too big, too powerful, takes the game away from you. You have to try and win the game somewhere else. You can't stop him. So when his peers come out, and I keep harping on about this, when the peers come out and say, Andre Pirlo, for instance, was approached by the manager and they said, would you like Steven Gerrard to play next year?
He said, yeah.
Damn right I would. Yeah, you go get him. Jose Mourinho tried to sign him for Chelsea, Inter Milan and Real Madrid. Alex Ferguson knocked on his door 3 or 4 times to try to tempt him to Manchester United. All of those attempts to sign him were when Scholes was in his pomp, Lampard was in his pomp, and Real Madrid were pulling up trees in world football. They wanted him to join those teams because he's a special footballer. He warrants the recognition. People are getting themselves all out of shape because he's gone in now because he hasn't won the Premier League. It's not about Premier League titles. If that was the case, Phil Neville gets in before Alan Shearer because he's got 6.
Right. No, that's a good point.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
She just came from nowhere say, Ryan, what are your thoughts?
In terms of Steven Gerrard getting in, look, with Steven Gerrard, I love Steven Gerrard, obviously, like every Liverpool fan, but
no, you don't.
And I'm not going to use he's not won a.
No, you don't.
I'm not going to use.
You don't love Steven Gerrard like every Liverpool fan.
I love how he doesn't show his face, and he's just like, no, you don't.
Vinci, mute his mic, please.
Go ahead.
Nah, but Nick made me lose track of thought, innit?
Good.
Okay, right.
Good. I succeeded.
You're saying don't mind saying. You're saying
Yeah,
that you lost
I
Steven
said,
Gerrard, but
I'm not going to use he's not won a league title against him because for me that's not the reason why. You know, I'm just not going to use that against him because he was playing in a crap team for most of his time, and you're up against even when we had a good team in like 08 times, Man United was still a better team than us at that time. It would have been very hard to overtake that team and win a title, even though we should have done in 08, 09, but Torres was injured for most of it, so we didn't. But I'm not going to use him not winning a league title against him. The only thing is with him is that for me personally, I don't think he's the best midfielder that I've seen at Liverpool. For me.
Oh wow!
Who's the best midfielder you've seen at Liverpool?
Xabi Alonso.
I wonder. Xabi Alonso. Oh, Ryan, you're making this tough.
Xabi Alonso was a tremendous footballer, very different to Steven Gerrard. He was like a quarterback, sat in front of the back four, and he ripped teams to shreds with one touch.
Can I ask a question, Steve? Who's better?
What?
Who's better, Ryan? Xabi Alonso or Thiago?
Xabi Alonso.
I feel like that's
the correct answer. To be fair, is the correct answer.
No, it is the correct answer.
It is.
But do you understand the question? Do you understand the question? That's more that's more in line with the type of player in which Alonso was.
Okay, so someone else agrees with Ryan here. And I want to try and look at this because honestly, Gerrard is part of the reason why I support Liverpool. I'm going to say it flat out. I'm going to take that aside and try and look at this objectively. What about Alonso makes in your head, Ryan? Because you said this stands over Gerrard. Like, just hit me with some concrete examples.
I just look at stuff like, Alonso as a centre mid, I think was a better central midfielder than him. If you look at Gerrard, a lot of the times when he did play, in his prime at Liverpool, when, he was playing a lot, I'd say Gerrard's prime was probably maybe 04 till maybe 09, so that 5-year period. If you look at that, right, when did Xabi Alonso join Liverpool? 2004. When did he leave? 2009. Xabi Alonso, without Xabi Alonso, will Steven Gerrard have had those being as good as he was in those prime years? When Gerrard was playing behind,
you can't. That's ridiculous.
You can't say that.
You can't.
But when he was playing behind Fernando Torres and him and Torres were on a madness, Xabi Alonso was creating things in midfield.
He was a madness. He was doing the same madnesses with Suarez. He's doing the same madness.
Nah. Do you think?
Okay.
No. He was though.
No.
Okay. Let me try and break this down. Right. What are Xabi Alonso's weaknesses? Just say them out if you can. What are his weaknesses?
I can't really think of his weaknesses.
Easy pace. That's one.
Yeah, that's one, isn't it? But like, I can't really think of any other weaknesses that he had. His passing, his touch, his awareness, his vision, his IQ was all there.
His tackling.
Yeah,
tackling wasn't bad. His tackling wasn't bad.
He wasn't as physical as Gerrard.
He was playing. His stats are as good as anybody's, if not better.
Okay. There's another thing that I wanted to ask you guys about with Xabi Alonso that was quite questionable. His stamina. What was his stamina like, even in his prime?
He didn't play in a position.
He didn't play. He wasn't a sort of runner though. Like he was just a dictator. He'd get on the ball and dictate the play.
Guys, what Xabi Alonso didn't do ever for Liverpool, and I'm a massive Xabi Alonso fan. He broke my heart when he left.
Yeah.
He didn't get hold of games by the scruff of the neck and say, I'm going to show all of you around me, this is what we do to win football matches like Champions League finals and FA Cup.
But he enabled Steven Gerrard to be able to do that stuff. Because without him holding it in midfield together...
You can't say that.
Steve, I was going to.
Gerrard was driven. Sorry, mate. Gerrard was driven.
Go ahead.
One of Gerrard's first training sessions, he smashed a senior pro in one of his first training sessions. Then he took a ball off a senior pro and hit a 40-yard pass. And that senior pro looked at him as if to say, "Why didn't you give me the ball back?" Several Liverpool players in that training session said, "Hang on a minute, we've got one here. He's a bit different to what else you see. This guy is driven and motivated and will stop at nothing to get to where he wants to get to." And it is that inspirational side of his game where he rolled his sleeves up and he led from the front as an inspirational, iconic skipper. People I know who've watched the game longer than I have can't separate him and Kenny Dalglish as the greatest Liverpool football players ever. That in itself is enough to tell you how good that guy is.
My thing is, what are Gerrard's weaknesses?
He hasn't got any temperament, bit rash sometimes. Dove in a little bit, and the Herrera thing.
No, but that changed. As he got older, that changed.
You know what the problem was with Gerrard as well? I felt he relied, and this ain't me saying Gerrard was a bad player or anything. I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
Gerrard's a legend. I'm not denying that, but like he also did rely a lot on his athletic ability, and I'd say from 2009 when Alonso left, as a team, by the way, we just fell apart when Alonso left. Like, we finished second in his last season, finished seventh in the next season, like, bloody hell. But, like, and we just fell apart when he left. But I saw a big decline in Gerrard after Alonso left. He just wasn't the same.
Yeah, but Steve, what was that FA Cup final when he smashed it 35 yards?
2006.
2006 against injury time against West Ham. Like, he had a cramp. What are you talking about? Physicality, bro. Technically, this guy was a fucking monster. Like, what are you talking? Like, I'm not having it, Ryan. I'm not having it at all.
So, Ryan, before Xabi Alonso came in to Liverpool, right? Steven Gerrard, from a teenage age, literally has done almost everything.
Olympiacos goal. You don't remember the Olympiacos goal? The Olympiacos, Gerrard, like, bro. Yeah. Technically,
obviously, you guys
I'm not. That is a void argument that he relied on his physics. Like, bro, his athleticism. That's. I'm not having that one, bro. He was technically a fucking beast. But Pirlo ain't saying he wants to play with him because of his fucking athleticism, brother. No way. You need to rewind it and come again.
Yeah, but what you guys have to remember is I'm 21. I'm younger than you guys. When Steven Gerrard's like coming through, I was like just being.
But then say that you have to say that with a caveat. You have to say that. You can't now say that as a subtext. Like, oh, by the way, nah, bro.
No, he's right. He's right. He's absolutely spot on.
You have to say, listen, by the way, guys, like, I'm saying this from a 21-year-old's eyes, and then everyone will go, oh, I get it. Like, cool. Then we can have a conversation. But you say with your fucking chest, like, you know, certain things. And I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. Like, I wasn't around with Kenny Dalglish, but I couldn't talk reckless like that. You know, like that.
But the thing Ryan, is that I saw Alonso and Gerrard, because I started watching Liverpool in 2007 when I was about 6-7 years old. So, like,
wow.
So, like, think of your 6-7-year-old brain trying to analyze football.
And then
I'm not taking a piss on that. Like, I'm just
more when I watched them in it. Like, I just liked him more.
You only really started watching football, like actually watching football, when you're maybe about 12, 13. Do you know what I mean? Like, really,
but by then, Gerrard just wasn't the same player.
Exactly, but that's not his fault. That's not his fault that Ryan started watching football when, like, come on, bro. You have to give man the respect that. You know what I'm saying, though? Come on, you have to, bro. Shout out Ravi Bikram as well, one of my bad boys. Like, come on. You know that way there? Like,
no. You know, one thing I like about Ryan's point is because, you know, someone else agreed with him from the comments, right? But it also got me to really think, because I've never really compared the two. Like, I don't know who mentioned it. I think they're like two different. I think they're two different players, two different type of midfielders, even though in my mind they're two different type of midfielders. But to be honest, they covered the same, like Steven Gerrard's career. He's done what he's played in the position Xabi Alonso.
Going back to what Steve was saying, yeah, pretty much. Without Gerrard, we are nothing. Like without Alonso, like Alonso was kind of more your luxury player. Do you know what I mean? Like it was nice to have him, but he ain't single-handedly changing no game. Like, look, listen, we're gonna take this by the scruff of our neck. And there are so many. I don't have the fingers in order to count the amount that Gerrard has without him, we ain't winning that game like that. Like, I don't care. Not like it's just simple like that. Like, and I'm not taking nothing away from Alonso because he was ridiculous. Like Alonso, like Steve says. Go on, Steve. Go on.
I was going to say this. Like, can I just put 12 points in there? Like, if you look back at people like myself who've watched Liverpool for a bit longer than you guys, and you talk about Liverpool's central midfield, and you talk about ranking Liverpool's central midfield, and you compare the eras, Xabi Alonso is not in the top 5 central midfielders for Liverpool Football Club. Steven Gerrard is number 1. Graham Souness is number 2. Ray Kennedy would be in the top 5, as would Terry McDermott. Xabi Alonso would struggle to make the top 5. But then, you talk to a guy who's been going to watch Liverpool for 40 years.
But then it depends on also longevity as well, in terms of, I don't really take longevity into account. For me, it's just personally, how good were they at their prime? Like, that's why I always say Luis Suarez is the best player I've ever seen at Liverpool.
Technically, he's the best player Liverpool have ever, and I don't disagree. But if you went to the game and you asked 100 people sat round you, who's the best Liverpool central midfielder ever, 99 of them will say Steven Gerrard. Who's the second best? 99 of them will say Graham Souness. Xabi Alonso won't be in that conversation.
But guys, one thing I can go ahead.
Shout out this comment quickly. Shout out Ravi Riku and says, Ryan, you never saw Gerrard back when he was breaking through the first team when Owen was there. Bro, trust me, that Gerrard, Owen, McManaman, Carragher, bro, like, and there was no sign of Alonso anywhere there. Like, bro, I'm telling you.
Okay. Alonso won a Champions League in his first season.
One thing I will give Alonso over Gerrard is Alonso's ability to just manipulate the ball, to control the ball. Xabi Alonso's control was a little bit more better than Steven Gerrard's. Like his chesting, controlled first touch and stuff, it was better than Gerrard's. But apart from that, I don't see anything else I can give Xabi Alonso over Steven Gerrard. Like,
depends what you like as a footballer, really.
What?
It depends just what you like as a footballer.
Do you know, I hear that, yeah, but it's with Gerrard, his importance. It's not a fair comparison. Like it's not. Do you know them ones there? Like it's different if you were saying like a. I don't know, man. Like but I don't know. But just something like, you know, like someone who wasn't like all in all, be all in all kind of thing. I get it. But Gerrard, without Gerrard, and I say that with no hesitation, like without this player, we are. Whoa. Like, come on, it wasn't just nice to have, you know. Them ones that like, it wasn't just he is like, I know I say that about that, he is generational. And I know Alonso is as well, but like, come on, man, let's.
So we had an ex-professional football player who played for Newcastle, Celtic, and Bolton on our pod, right? The last question I asked one of our guests who've been in and around football is Gerrard, Lampard, or Scholes. He said to me and to my guy from my pod, I'm going to cheat a little bit here because I played in one training session with Steven Gerrard and I'd never seen anything like it. So I'm going to go with Gerrard. One training session. You could see what Gerrard had, all the others didn't. One training session, stupid grin on his face, little bit of excitement. I've got to go with Gerrard because the guy had everything.
Well, Ryan, Alonso ain't letting us win the cup, the Champions League like that. Like without, I know you're saying Alonso, but bro, without Steven Gerrard in that game, we had no right. We had no right.
Alonso in that game, we had no right as well.
Without saying that Champions League game, we can't isolate. We cannot isolate because Luis Garcia was also there as well.
And then and then you take all of their technical ability aside. You take all of their impact you talk about Henderson being that captain, like that drive, that like bruv, you could not take that away from it's hard. Come on, man.
Hard. It's hard. I'm trying to look for something. It's hard. It's hard. One
Stevie
day I
is
think
the
it'll be
wrong person
interesting
to try and draw the comparison with. It's just too the heart. Like you said, Vinci, you started this by saying that Stevie is one of the reasons you're living. It's the wrong guy. Like you can't. He's the wrong guy, bro. He's the wrong guy.
You know what would be interesting?
Vinci, I'll give you 5 things. Vinci, I'll give you 5 attributes for a footballer, and you score me them for Steven Gerrard, okay? So out of 10, I'm going to give you 5 attributes. Score out of 10. So what does Gerrard score out of 10 for passing?
Short and long range, 10.
Okay, what does he score for shooting?
10.
11.
What does he score for physicality and power?
11 and a half.
Physicality, 10. Shit.
Okay, what does
that's a shit.
What does he score for tackling?
Tackling?
Yeah.
I'll give him a 9.
Okay. So if we were sitting here on a computer making the perfect footballer, you just made him. Because those scores are consistently above 8. So it's a complete package. That is why all of his peers.
On top of that, he had a gear shift as well. I'm not saying he was the most pacey player, but could you ball past? Could you run past him? No, you could not.
Saying this is what I wanted to bring up, Steve. This is what I want to bring up. I know that you picked up a couple of qualities, but one argument that it would be nice to have a Man United supporter here, because they always talk about Scholes being better than Gerrard. One thing that people give Scholes credit for over Gerrard was Scholes' ability to control the game. And I will say Gerrard was not the best. What I mean by control is the ability to slow it down. Sort of like what De Bruyne can do. Slow it down.
De Bruyne went like that, man.
But that wasn't his. That wasn't his game. But then there's also factors in that we'll never get to see, because Steven Gerrard was carrying a lot of lower par.
De Bruyne is probably the player most similar to Steven Gerrard, I'd say, in the league right now.
There are similarities, I would agree.
I still wouldn't though. I
But
still think that there's
Paul
a lot
Scholes,
of
by his own admission, will tell you he couldn't get up and down the pitch. He didn't have an engine, and this is his words, not mine. So he became a conductor of football from a deeper position as his career went on. And he'll make the Hall of Fame. He deserves to make the Hall of Fame because he's a fantastic footballer. That's not in question for 1 second. What we're talking about here is the way that Twitter blew up this afternoon, and even Bob's challenged it to say he doesn't think Gerrard should be in there. There are no reasons for Gerrard not to be in there. No.
Yeah. No. Facts. Guys, any last words?
One last. Prime Yaya Toure, Prime Steven Gerrard.
Personally, mate. Don't take it personally. We're just passionate about our boy.
No, guys, on that note, we've gone over 1 hour. Thank you so much for your time and your energy. This was great. By next week, we should be third, fingers crossed. Ryan's been right recently. He's just saying that we're pamming everybody, and we are. So we're just going to do the last D. Thank you guys so much for your time. Comments, those that are watching, thank you so much for staying with us. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the interactivity. Do like, subscribe, and real quick, let's just wrap it up. We can start from Saint. Go ahead, tell them where they can find you and what's next.
Saint LFC TV on YouTube, Saint LFC TV on Instagram. Hit me up. I'm here every Thursday, and I've actually got a little something special coming for the Crystal Palace preview. Shout out my boy Ryan, who will be involved in that. So yeah, check out my channel for that. You know what I mean? Boom, gang.
Let's go, team. All right, let's go, Steve. I'll go this way.
Okay, so you can find me on Football Focus. Recently been rebranded from Red Sky Pods. We're trying to organise a watch along for the Palace game with some of the lads who come on our stream. That promises to be mental, especially if we win. It'll be like a party on the podcast, so that would be pretty cool. there's some decent content coming out of there. We want to do a bit more. Always up for collaboration. So need to see you guys on there for a start. That'd be cool.
Let's go. Guys, I love it. Creativity. All right, Ryan, let's go. Wrap it up for us. Where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Saxham City TV. I haven't done a lot of shows the last week. I probably won't do loads over the next couple because I've got uni exams coming up. So, got to get them done in it. So, but yeah, you can find me on the Q&As. Nick was on the last one, actually made his debut on it last Sunday after the West Brom game. It was a mazza. That was one of the best Q&As we've done, That was hilarious.
That was sick.
But, it was.
Get that one out, man.
Yeah, say and his energy is always mad.
Oh, it was so good.
Love it. All right, boys. Thank you so much.
Watch-alongs and you can find me on some watch-alongs on there.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe the odd other shows on there, like Agenda FC. I think me and Nick are going to do one of them. We said Agenda FC on some certain agendas. And like I said, I'm planning to bring out my own Liverpool show on there about maybe next month sometime. So hopefully just a few things to sort out with that, logos, time, stuff like that. So yeah, that's all really.
Awesome. And you find me here every Thursday, Kopping Mechanism, Vinci Codino, Instagram at Vinci Codino. Thank you guys so much, and see you next time. Take care.
Peace.